learning how teenagers think, I learned it from my own children and I learned it from their friends. And I found that this group of human beings are the grandest on earth. They're smart, they're funny, but they're afraid. They don't understand things, but they want to learn. But they want to learn the way they learn. And that's where we make mistakes. We try and teach teenagers the way adults learn. But this is a very unique group of people from 13 to 19. And trust me, at one moment in my life, I had three of them in the age group of 13 to 19. So I am really well versed in how this works. The, the teenager is a unique character. I am not interested in trying to explain why they're so unique. Just trust me. If you have one, you know they are. You know that they are smart and funny, and they're on the brink of discovering what they're going to be and who they are. And, we sit around with negativity and saying, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Oh, you're driving me crazy. You don't hug your teenager enough. They act like they don't need hugs, which is just BS completely. But the biggest problem, besides feeling like they belong socially, is money. Money and teenagers. What the hell to do about it? And the thing is that you have to be transparent and know that teenagers need money. If you were raised where you had to do chores for your money and you didn't get a dime and you went to school without any money in your pocket and you were like my mom and she didn't really care what I needed or wanted or how I would feel comfortable. And you're wrong that teenagers absolutely have to have money. They have to be responsible about it, but they have to have some sort of income for them to be able to function on a day-to-day basis in school. If you think that's not true, I'm really sorry, but you're wrong. Teenagers need not only an allowance, but money that is theirs and money that they can spend on things that they need. Now, what happens is, what do we do when we don't give teenagers money? They learn to get it on their own. They buy and sell things. They sometimes steal out of your bedroom. They take money out of your wallet. They pawn things. They do, from what I understand, they can do, dime bags of marijuana, anything to get money in their pocket so that they're not the only kid who doesn't have money. Well, that sounds reckless. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, all of this would be reckless. I don't trust my teenager. Teenagers out there, sometimes you're just effing untrustworthy. And parents just want to go to bed and not think about you and hope that when you get into your 20s, you'll be smarter. You'll go away to college, you'll learn all this, and you'll come back and you'll say, Mom and Dad, you were the greatest. Or if you only grew up with your dad or grew up with your mom, or you grew up in your grandparents' home or your auntie and uncle's home, you'll say, oh, they'll learn later. No, by the time they learn, they will have screwed up so badly that they can't recover from it and undo the mess until they're in their 30s. You don't want to do that. I want all teenagers to have a savings account. I would love to see anybody who loves your teenager give them money on special occasions. I would like to see you have a specific budget. Part of the money they get a check for $25, 10 goes into the savings account, 15 is for them to spend. What do they get from you for being in the house and taking out the trash, keeping their room clean, cleaning their bathroom, babysitting for a younger child? All of that has to be something where they earn money. If they get a job, you have to be willing to drive them there and pick them up. You cannot complain about your teenager working. If your teenager isn't driving yet and they have a Saturday where they can go to the beach with their friends and they say, Mom, I need a ride. Dad, I need a ride. Don't go, oh, crap, I don't want to do that. Go, of course. And I want you to learn how to drive. And while you're driving them there, show them techniques of driving. Say, see how I stopped before I got to the stop sign and I didn't jerk on the brakes. See how that person actually didn't stop correctly, went through a light. All of those things are teaching moments. So, in order to get your child to listen to you about money, you have to be willing to listen to your child about their needs and desires. And if you're willing to write off your teenager and say, I'm just not interested, then probably I'm not the person for you, because I am going to be encouraging you to take your child seriously. Make sure that by the time they're 12, they have gotten some money that they can spend, that they actually understand savings and spending, that they actually understand earning. So when they become a teenager and they're in high school and they have more peer pressure than ever, they've already got some of those skills that you've laid down for them. They actually know. I believe that every child deserves to have a card with some money on it for emergencies, a card that you're in charge of, that you fill up. So you say to your child, "Oh, you're going to it's the weekend. I'm going to put $25 on your card for the weekend." If they're driving and they don't have a job yet, yeah, and they need to fill up gas, you need to give them a way of paying for the gasoline, going to the pump, seeing how much it costs. We do that to our kids. Take your child grocery shopping. For goodness sakes, let them see what it costs to fill up your car. Let them see what it costs to buy them what they want for dinner. Don't berate them. If they're going to have a party at your house for 6 kids or 10 kids, take them with you to buy what it's going to take. Take them with you to buy the sodas or the waters or the pizza or the snacks or whatever. Let them see what it costs. Let them do comparison shopping with you. Let them have some money to put on their card to pay for it. Don't always just let them stay home. Don't include them. Uh, Let them know. Take them to the car wash. If they're using your car, let them pay for the car wash with money they earned. Let them tip the people washing the car. All these things that parents don't do because it's too much work is why your child is going to go to college. And I'm telling you, 80% of them waste your money because they're out drinking, they're bouncing checks, or they're not paying their utility bill because they're out doing something else. You need to train them while they're still in your home. And let me tell you, the training is without a doubt the most important thing you will do. There is nothing more important than training your teenagers with money. So, encourage family members and friends to give your children money for their birthdays or Christmas or special occasions, and sit down with your teenager and open a savings account and make sure that some of that money always goes in the savings account. Take your child with you to grocery shop. Your 8-year-old can go, but your teenager has to go. And they may put up a stink, but you say, okay, there's no money for you on your card unless you go with me and see what things cost. Let them understand when they take showers that are 15 minutes, how much water costs. Let them see the price per kilowatt of your utility bill. Let them see those things. Sit down once a month with your family and say, okay, this is how much we bring into the house for income, and this is what we're going to spend on the first of the month. Everybody is silent about money. That's the biggest mistake, because you know what? I meet young people in college and afterward all the time that thought somehow money was magical. My parents always made sure I had things. My parents had money. No, your parent was using a credit card and buying you something they couldn't afford so that you wouldn't go without. But they didn't see the interest on the credit card and understand, if you buy $1,000 worth of football equipment for them to be on the team, and then you can't pay it off the next month, they don't realize that maybe 15% is being added to that amount until you get it paid off. So it wasn't just $1,000 that you paid for the equipment, it was $1,000 plus interest. And that's how credit card companies make their money. Do you know that kids don't really know that? They don't know that your credit card company is making money from you. That is why kids need to have a debit card or a credit card, and they have to sit down with a statement and see what they spent. They need to understand that. They need to get it. They need to get it. And I know that I sound passionate and maybe like out of control, but I'm telling you, these are the things that are important. A child has a savings account. You can go to the bank with them and open one, their minor savings account. Your child needs to have a card with some money on it that they can use. Your child needs to earn money either with a job outside. And if they get a job outside the house, you need to not grumble about taking them or picking them up. That your child needs to go to the grocery store with you and see what groceries cost. They need to go to the gas station with you and see what gas costs. They need to be responsible if they're driving your car for one tank a month at least. So you need to show them how much one tank a month costs. Don't just yell from the background, "Oh, do you know how much gas costs?" No, you need to take them and show them. They need to be responsible for a car wash and a tip. They need to understand that when they have a party with their friends and you're providing the food, what that food costs. They need to be able to save. If they want a birthday party in 2 months for their 16th birthday, they need to be saving on the card that you've given them so that when they go to buy those special things they want for the party, they can do it with the money they earned. Now, earning money is very important. There's no job that a teenager should think is too shitty or too silly or too small for them to do. Everything they learn to do now will help them when they're older. Don't go in and clean up their mess. Clean it up with them. Make an afternoon of it, saying, look, if we get this done in the 2-hour time limit, I will give you a bonus of $10 to put in your savings account, or I'll put $15 on your card because this was a big job and we both got it done. Do not shy away from the difficulties of training a teenager. I'm telling you, they're my favorite group. I love them. And I may get messages that say, well, then you can have mine. No, I had mine. I had three, a 19-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 13-year-old. I know what that feels like. I did it. I paid my dues. I've got teenage granddaughters. I get it. It's not easy. It's very complex to get them to take responsibility, because think of it this way. When your teenager is 16, there's a line drawn in the sand, or actually a pretty permanent line drawn across the sidewalk or a driveway or in your house, where they say, I'm 16, I'm grown up enough to do what I want. Then when they get into trouble, I'm just 16, I didn't know what I was doing. You will have a teenager that does both of those things. Oh, they're so grown up they can make all their decisions. And then when something goes wrong, well, I'm only 16, I didn't know. No, start now. So your children, maybe they'll say, I'm 16 and I know stuff, but they can't come to you and say, well, I didn't know. And number one thing, besides social engagement and your child feeling comfortable socially and understanding about sex, is money. And money will get them into trouble just as fast as anything else will. And some of your kids' friends will have money and their parents will give it to them, and their parents have money, and so they don't teach their children. And some friends of yours, kids will have no money. Like I was the poorest kid in school. Oh my God. But I babysat 50 cents an hour to get money to take to school, to put money in the vending machine to get an apple or a bag of chips. We were not wealthy people. We were very broke. So I know I've been without money. I've been with some money. I understand money. I teach about money. I have a book that I published about, and I'm going to get it for you right now. I'm going to take a little trip over here. This I wrote. It's called The Common Sense Guidebook to Mastering Your Money: Critical Things, Skills You Should Have Been Taught as a Kid But Never Were. It's on Amazon. I'm not really pushing it. It's under $10. Don't buy it if you don't want to. But I learned a lot of lessons, and this book is very valuable. So if you really want your child to at least start talking about it, buy them the book. I'm not kidding. $7.99, $8. Buy them the book. Have them read it. There's a lot of information in here about what it takes to live every day and the mistakes that we make. And I am going to put together a series program for teenagers who are thinking about leaving home, going off to the universities or colleges or getting roommates or whatever. And I'm going to put that together. And, you're going to have to pay a little bit for it. But honestly, if you can't do this with your teenagers, I'm willing to do it. I want them to learn. So the Common Sense Guidebook to Mastering Your Money is on Amazon. I'm Raba Da Vinci. I want to teach your teenagers. I have never come across a teenager that didn't like money, that didn't want more money than they have, but wanted less responsibility. It's common among teenagers. I don't care what country they live in. I don't care where they're brought up. It doesn't matter. I was brought up in South Central Los Angeles. Went to school at Crenshaw and Slauson, and I had no money, and it was a basic blue collar neighborhood, and most people didn't, but there were people there that had pockets of money from owning restaurants or stores or something. But then I went to high school, and that's where I saw affluence that I would never have, I thought, and don't really. But the most important thing was, when I was a teenager, my mom taught me about money. She really did, because we were broke, and she taught me about paying rent. I paid $90 a month rent to my mother in 1969 and 70 and 71 when I lived at home. And I paid off a loan from my dad, and I saved money for a wedding. I got married too young, but I got married. I saved money for a wedding, and all of that because my mom said, "Sit down. This is how it works." She did it for me. I don't know that she necessarily did it for anybody else, but she did it for me. So I've written a book. I'm putting together a program. You are not alone. I will go through the teenage years with you. I am willing to do that. So I'm going to sign off now. I've given you a lot to think about. Look for me on Amazon. Look for my program coming up in the near future. It's a 10-part program on cash, credit scores, credit cards, buying an automobile, having roommates, paying for utilities. It's a very comprehensive program. And I'm just telling you that I'm doing this until I take my last breath, because I love teenagers. And I want my audience and my subscribers, and I hope I get many more, because I think my message is good. I want to help you. Thank you again for listening. I'm Robin Da Vinci. I've been through it. I care, and thank you.